All right, so we're back and we're doing the top 5 baseball movies of all time. I'm wearing my Yankees hat. And Yankees, are they still your favorite team of all time?
Yes and no.
A certain year, right? Of what was the best era of the Yankees? That's the right question.
The best era of the Yankees, their best team ever
Yeah,
was the 1927 Yankees.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, and it might have been one of the all-time best teams in baseball.
Was that the team that you used for Earl Weaver baseball, or did you use Yankees from different years when we did that game?
I used Yankees from different years, but I used 4 players from that team.
Okay, which ones?
Gehrig,
Of course.
Moiselle,
Mm-hmm.
and Dickey.
Oh yeah, Dickey, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so who do you think was the overall better player, Gehrig or Ruth?
If Ruth didn't drink and be out most of the time and sick because he was overeating and stuff, Ruth could have been a better player. Actually, Ruth probably is the better player because not only was he a great outfielder and a great power hitter, but he was also a great pitcher.
Right. Yeah, I think most people would say or argue that he is the best player of all time. But I mean, there's so many greats. But I didn't mean to get us off on a tangent right away. Let's get right to it. Top 5 baseball movies. I'm going to give mine first because mine is a total cheat and will not even qualify to be on our combined list.
Okay, well, that may be the thing that I was going to do a shout out for. So go ahead, let me have it, and we'll see what
that might be. It's The Naked Gun.
No.
It doesn't even count because it's just maybe 15 minutes worth of baseball at the end of the movie, but
I don't even remember the 15 minutes of baseball.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's hilarious. Leslie Nielsen infiltrates as the umpire, and he's patting down the baseball players when they're at bat, and then he also sings the national anthem as Enrico Palazzo or whatever the guy's name is. And there's just so many. And then there's also a part that I think of all the time. They're showing highlights of baseball clips, and these guys go to the fence to catch it, and it hits the glove and the guy's head, and it decapitates him. And then the announcer says, "How about that?" So just for those 10 minutes alone, I cheated and put it on my list. So
they should have done a risotto. Holy cow!
Yeah, exactly. So I know for sure it's not going to be on our combined list, and it shouldn't be. But what's your number 5?
I chose for number 5 For the Love of the Game.
Ah, okay. I have not seen that.
I know. You probably haven't seen like at least 2 of these. Yes, it's a Kevin Costner movie.
Of course.
He's a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, and it's his last game that he's pitching. He's retiring. And like in between, they have flashbacks of, like his relationship with his girlfriend and stuff like that. But the reason why I like it is because while he's on the mound, he's like so into the game that he's like thinking what the hitter's going to do, what pitch he's going to throw, and he's going, no, I'm not, like talking to the catcher and stuff like that. So you get a sense of like what the pitchers do out on the mound.
Yeah,
so that's why I like that movie. It was really good.
Okay, cool. So I'm guessing you're going to have more than one Costner movie on your top 5. I just went with one on mine, so we'll see if we agree on that. But
Okay.
this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I think probably we'll only agree on two again, probably. But let's see. So number 4 is another curveball, but it does count as a baseball movie, even though it's technically a documentary slash concert film. Let's Play 2, which is, I don't know if you've heard of this or not. I may have mentioned to you, it came out a couple years ago. And so basically what it is it's half concert movie of the band Pearl Jam, who are huge Chicago Cubs fans because Eddie Vedder is from Chicago. And they played at Wrigley Field a couple nights during the playoffs that the Cubs did win the World Series. So they put that together with the story of the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016 and kind of merged them together. And sometimes actually like putting the music with baseball highlights, which is really cool. But I was in it mostly for the Pearl Jam stuff, obviously. Okay. But it's actually a really cool movie that shows the connection that the band has with the city and with the team. And of course, it was a huge underdog story anyway. So
yeah, that was another team that hasn't won in a long time. I can't remember, but I think
it was like over 100 years they hadn't won.
Yeah, it was the year before the Black Sox scandal.
Right.
Yeah, because they lost the series that year with the what is that, 8 Men Out, that movie?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was not on my list.
Okay, so what's your number 4?
Yeah, it could have been. Number 4 is Major League.
Okay. I have that higher on my list. So
it was higher on my list earlier. I dropped it down a little bit.
It's understandable. A lot of people probably think it's like a dopey comedy, but I think there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, there is. I mean, because there were a bottom team, like the Cleveland Indians.
Right. Talk about an underdog story. I mean, like they had absolutely the worst team where, Charlie Sheen played the guy fresh out of jail, and Wesley Snipes as Willie Mays Hayes, and you had Corbin Burnson and who's the guy that was like the catcher, the veteran, Tom Berenger.
Yeah,
great cast.
Right. Yeah, it was a great cast. It was a fun movie. And every time you watch it, it's a fun movie. Yeah. It was like really good.
Yeah, I must have watched that movie like over and over again when it was on cable, back in the Showtime days or whatever. And I caught it a couple years ago on TV, and I liked it just as much. The whole thing with the power hitter that has his little voodoo doll, Joe Boo, and all that. I mean, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah, with the bat and stuff like that, and lighting the candles.
The dead chicken, exactly. Classic, man. I love it. Okay, so that'll be higher on my list. So now my number 3 is Moneyball.
Oh, my God, you didn't see that movie?
Yeah, I did eventually.
Yeah. I thought you told me you never saw it.
It was a few years ago I finally saw it.
Okay, it's number 3 on mine also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's cool. Well, yeah, I mean, really cool movie, especially I think my expectations were kind of low going into it because I was thinking, okay, this is going to be like a boring statistics kind of movie, but it was really cool how they
did that.
Brad Pitt, of course, his charismatic self, and Jonah Hill as his assistant was great. And
he was general manager of the Oakland Athletics.
That's right. Yeah, Billy Bean. Yeah. And they used it was basically mostly like on base percentage that they went off of to build a team basically from scratch of people that no one else would have picked.
Yeah, that year they had a very low money cap,
Yeah.
so he couldn't get a lot of stars. So he had to fill that in with players that really weren't going to get a lot of a big pay scale, and a lot of them were like players that weren't even playing, that played, but now nobody wanted them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and young Chris Pratt was one of the players. He was good in it. And then, of course, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think he played the coach that kind of disagreed with the whole idea.
Yeah, he was the general manager, but then, like, his coach didn't agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to keep playing the money players rather than the cheap players. And so it was all, but it was statistics. And I remember the big phrase in that movie was, well, why do you want this guy? Because he gets on base.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, the league has kind of adopted that method since then.
Yeah. After he left Oakland, he went to Boston, and he did the same thing up in Boston.
Yeah. Very cool. And another great underdog story. I think that's probably the theme of most of the good baseball movies.
Yeah, well, some of them, yeah.
All right. So number 2 for me.
Everybody loves an underdog. So as soon as you have an underdog, then they can win, they can not win, they can get close, whatever. It doesn't matter. They were the underdog.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Like
my next. Right. Yeah. So my number 2, I guess is not exactly an underdog story. And I wonder if you'll have this on your list or not. It is a Costner movie, and it's Field of Dreams.
That was not in my top 5, but it was in my top 10.
Okay, fair enough.
And that was one of the ones that I kept floating with on whether or not to do it or not. I liked the movie. It's just that it was kind of slow in the beginning, and really the best parts were at the end.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, a part of why the ending works so well, I think, is because it kind of slowly gets there, and you're kind of questioning as a viewer, is Costner losing his mind in the process?
Right.
But then when what's his name? Shoeless Joe Jackson shows up and starts having a relationship with him, played by Ray Liotta from Goodfellas, by the way. I just think it's really cool how it builds and builds, and not to give it all away, but the whole "if you build it, they will come."
Okay.
The mystery of it. It almost becomes more of like a mystery movie than a baseball movie. So I can see why you wouldn't maybe put it on your top 5, but I really like it.
Actually, it was in my top 5, and then I moved it down to 7.
Okay.
I have said any one of those top 10 could have been in the top 5 because they're all really great movies and iconic movies.
Would A League of Their Own have been in your top 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually was number 6. I was debating For the Love of the Game or what you just said.
Yeah, I was. I should have put that instead of Naked Gun because I do enjoy that movie.
Yeah, then we would have covered it.
Yeah, I'm probably pissing off a lot of people with that one, but I just had to give a shout out to that one just for the line. There's no crying in baseball. I mean, you got to love that.
Yeah, it was in the Midwest, and it was started up because a lot of the major leaguers were in during the war. So
right. Yeah, I always forget that was true.
Right. So there was that was a way of still making money in baseball. It was just, well, I don't want to say what the end was because I don't want to give it away.
Yes. Okay. So what is your number 2 now?
My number 2 is Pride of the Yankees.
Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Another one I've never seen.
How could you not see that?
Should I take my hat off now?
Yeah, take your hat off. Obviously, it's about, well, not obviously, it's about Lou Gehrig.
Right.
Yeah. So, it goes, and, it's like this guy played like 2,130 something, I can't remember the exact number, of games in a row. He didn't miss a game for and the only other person to finally beat him, I believe, Cal Ripken of the Orioles beat that number before he retired. But nobody was ever close to that. And he was a really good power hitter. And he complimented Ruth. Actually, he batted cleanup. Ruth batted third.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So when did that movie come out? It's an older movie, right?
1942.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no wonder. Most films older than the 60s, I don't really check out, and I know that's terrible, but
my father made me watch that movie, but then I've seen it multiple times after that. Gary Cooper played Gehrig, and that was actually he played Gehrig really, really well. Gehrig was like a shy player. He didn't want the limelight. Ruth kept grabbing all the headlines, and he was very boisterous, always going to parties. And Ruth was like the direct opposite. He'd like stay to himself and stuff like that. And actually, he was the Yankee captain.
He was like the Michael Jordan of the Yankees, I guess, at that time. In a way.
Probably more like Scottie Pippen.
Okay. Yeah, we could get on a big tangent with talking about the Bulls and The Last Dance, which was a great documentary, by the way.
Did you see the whole thing finally?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. It was great.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I thought you said you didn't see it one Sunday night. So
I had to catch up. I watched for whatever it was, 4 hours one day.
Right.
It was totally worth it. It was great.
And of course, he played baseball for a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and just the fact that he had to come back into basketball and rebuild his body physically after he had built it for baseball, it was just insane.
I know. Yeah, when he came back, he was like, he's still better than average, but he wasn't the superstar that he was.
Right.
Until he built the muscles up again. And
then won 3 more championships in a row again.
That's right. 3-peat.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Okay, so now are we at number 1 already?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is going to be obvious. My number 1 that I mentioned previously is Major League.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That is a surprise. All right.
Yeah, if one genre is my favorite, it is comedy, and that one I think is probably more of a comedy than a true baseball movie, but it has a little bit of everything, I think.
Yeah, and I think my number 1 has the same, which is Bulldorum.
I knew that was going to be it. Yeah. Okay.
I was floating back and forth between Bulldorum and the Pride of the Yankees. That's which one was going to be number 1. So today I feel like it's Bulldorum. Tomorrow I could think it's Pride of the Yankees again. But it would always be between those two. And it's the same thing. Bulldorum was not real. It is a real baseball club.
Right.
but it wasn't characters that were real. At least
Right.
I don't think they were real. And it was funny the way that Costner's job was. He was like a has-been catcher.
Right.
And he had a goal in the minors, and as soon as he hit that goal, he was going to retire. And and if he got called up, that would have been even better. But his job was to train this pitcher.
Tim Robbins, yeah.
Yeah, Tim Robbins.
Yeah, great cast. Of course, Susan Sarandon was great in that too.
Yeah, and Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was probably too young to appreciate all the adult relationship stuff when I saw it the first time. And I haven't seen it in a long time. I need to rewatch it. But that probably would have been close to making my list as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie, and it's a classic. It's, it's comedy, it's about baseball, and it's about basically baseball life in the minor leagues.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be very interesting to combine these lists together because we only had, again, 2 in common. But so Major League was my number 1, and you also had it on your list at 4, right?
Correct.
So I would think we'd probably have to put that at number 1, and then your number 1 at 2.
Okay.
So Major League at 1 and Bulldorum at 2. And then I had Field of Dreams at 2, and you had Pride of the Yankees at 2. We can put Pride of the Yankees at 3. I think that's nice in the middle there.
Right.
But then we had Moneyball in common at 3. So should we put Moneyball at 4 and Field of Dreams at 5?
Why don't we put Moneyball at 3? Drop Pride of the Yankees down to 4.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and then what were we going to do at 5?
Well, Field of Dreams was my number 2, and we've already got your top 4 on here, so I think it's going to have to be Field of Dreams.
Okay, sounds good.
At least the Naked Gun didn't make it onto the list somehow.
Or the Aerosmith.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so the official list, I'll read it off here. The top 5 baseball movies of all time. At number 5, Field of Dreams. At number 4, The Pride of the Yankees. At number 3, Moneyball. At number 2, Bulldorum. And number 1, Major League. Take that. Yeah. I'm sure there's a ton of people that will argue heavily with this list.
Right. There is one other I'd like to do a shout out.
Okay.
To a documentary. That it's 22 hours long.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. Ken Burns Baseball.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Since we're on the topic, and this is amazing. I'm only up to, I've just seen the 9th one, so I've already seen 18 hours of it.
Yeah.
It covers baseball all the way from its early beginnings.
Right.
And, they were trying to say that it was a combination of round ball and cricket. It had elements of either one, and it was like combined and stuff like that. So, but it had like all the early teams. It had all the early teams, the major league teams, and I think it ended. I'm not sure where it ended since I haven't seen the whole thing. So right now I'm up to the end of the 70s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken Burns is great. I mean, the Civil War documentary. I mean,
And like live interviews, even old players and stuff. And the other big thing that they talked about, they talked about A League of Their Own, not the movie, but the real thing. And they also talked about the Black Leagues.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And two great players, and only one of them made it to the major leagues. Satchel Paige, probably the best all-time pitcher ever.
Yeah.
And the other one was catcher Josh Gibson. He was like a great power hitter.
Okay.
But they talked about every era of Major League Baseball and the Black Leagues.
Very cool.
And, yeah, it was cool. Like they gave them like equal time, and there was a lot of like race related stuff that like until like the 80s or 70s really didn't get resolved. I mean, especially when Hank Aaron was going for Babe Ruth's record and stuff, like, the death threats that he got and all that stuff. I mean, it was like completely horrible. But it was like, it's like a really good thing. And right now it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool.
Anybody who's got Amazon Prime, they definitely should catch that if they feel deprived of baseball right now during the baseball time. You'll get more than your fill of baseball.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the last dance for basketball was that for me, and such a nostalgia trip too, since I more or less stopped watching basketball after the Jordan era, but it brought me right back. So very cool. Oh, I wanted to give one more shout out to a baseball movie that I thought about, but it was Cobb, the
yes,
Tommy Lee Jones as Ty Cobb.
He was on my top 15, I think.
It's such a downer of a movie because he was like such a horrible person, but
yeah, he was. But and the thing was, Pete Rose he played like Ty Cobb played. And he was another player that got into a lot of trouble and stuff. The only thing is that people like Pete Rose.
Right.
Nobody liked Ty Cobb.
That's right. Well, I had him on my team, though, on Earl Weaver baseball.
Yes, you did.
He always got on base, man.
Give a shout out to Earl Weaver baseball.
Yes, Earl Weaver baseball.
The version, not the IBM version.
That's right. Talk about hours of fun. And that was, we were like Moneyball. We were playing more for the stats than the actual action.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Remember we would print out the stats too afterwards?
Yeah.
I think my team was called the Lasers.
Yes,
and I had, Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you had Bob Gibson pitching.
Yeah.
A couple of old timers.
Rogers Hornsby.
Yeah, Rogers Hornsby.
Yeah. Best shortstop of all time, right?
Best shortstop. Yeah. His baseball card is worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some decent basketball cards, I think, but not as many baseball that would be worth anything. But man, let's see. Oh, we've almost gone 40 minutes again. Look at us go. I'm going to have to edit this thing this time. But I think it was a good episode. So I think we said earlier pre-call that because of all the space stuff going on with the dragon, that's what it's called, right?
Right.
We're gonna go.
Dragon.
That's right. We're gonna do the top 5 outer space movies
Next time.
Yes. We could have gone top 5 sci-fi, but that would be a little too broad, I think.
Yeah.
Just outer space.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
outer space movies.
All right. That's going to be very interesting because it
That
can be.
could still be very broad.
We may have what I'm guessing we'll probably agree on only 2 again, but it could go.
We could do a top 30 on that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some of it could be nonfiction. Some could probably mostly fiction, though. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, cool, man. Well, that'll be good. Yeah, this was another good one. So hopefully, not too many people will be mad at our picks.
Yeah, and it's only 40 minutes now because we were talking about other things in the beginning that you're going to edit out anyway.
That's true. That's true. I do have to give a shout out to Mark, who recommended we edit going forward. His favorite baseball movie is The Sandlot, which I couldn't even make it through that movie myself. So sorry, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember the movie. It's I only saw it once, and it was a long time ago.
Okay.
So I don't actually remember it. I don't think it was on my favorite baseball movies at all on Letterboard.
I think had I seen it when I was a kid, it would probably have been more special to me, that kind of thing.
Right.
But,
the other one too, like a kid's movie, was Bad News Bears.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny too.
Yeah, lots of good ones.
Yeah.
So,
but they didn't make the top 5.
That's right. That's right. What we say counts. So, all right. So I'll see you next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right. See ya.